questions? Kind of when you have a team like that, what's the mental approach for your team to just put that behind you and move forward?
Just got to keep playing games. I mean, as long as we got games on the schedule, we just got to keep playing. I think it's the same approach as any other week. We're going to prepare for Minnesota and do our best to come up with a game plan and be able to stop those guys.
Mike said on defense on Saturday, it felt like it was almost like frantic, kind of where guys were trying to cover for other guys maybe a little bit. How would you describe what went wrong?
I mean, I just don't think we play like ourselves. You know what I mean? As far as just getting to the ball and doing our best to make plays, I don't think it was done. I mean, it showed. I still think we're a great defense. I still think we're one of the better defenses in the Big Ten. So we just have to do our best to put that game behind us and try to show that this week.
This week, how different of a challenge will it be the way Minnesota wants to really be more of a running offense, just for your defense?
I mean, it'll probably be close to maybe like a Wisconsin or a team like that, a team that is more conscious about running the ball. So I'm pretty sure this will probably be more of a physical week, different from last week, which was more of a passing type, spread out type week. So.
As a defender, what does Riker do at quarterback that can really help out an offense? As a
defender, I mean, I've gone against Riker, and he's a very accurate guy. He's a guy that's definitely gonna put the ball on point. So I just think defending that you have to be in absolute the perfect position to be able to stop those passes, because he's a guy who can put the ball in the right spot at the right time.
You guys have been on the road 3 or 4 weekends, 2 weekends in a row. How nice will it be to be home now for 2 straight games?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think it's great to be at home and be in front of our home crowd and feel welcome. So it'll be good to be back home for 2 weeks and then go back on the road to Iowa.
How mentally grinding though has it been? You guys get home, 2, 3 in the morning, even later from some of these road trips, and have to turn it around the last 2 weeks. I mean, what kind of grind has that been on the team?
I mean, I think it's normal. I mean, it's a football season, so I'm pretty sure for the veteran guys, I mean, we're pretty used to it. And I mean, even for the freshmen, I think you get used to it after the first and second time of doing it. So I don't think there was a big mental grind or like mental drought or anything like that.
You the kind of guy that after that game's over, you want to watch it right away, or I know it went bad, I don't need to see what happened?
No, I mean, I think you definitely have to learn from it, because if you don't learn from it, then I mean, the same result is going to happen when you play that. When we play that team next year, it's not like we can avoid it, because I mean, we're going to have to see that team in 365 days. So we just have to do our best to look at it, correct it, and then do our best to make sure it doesn't happen again.
What would you say was the hardest thing to respond to within the game?
The hardest thing to respond to in the game. I mean, I don't think there was one thing. I can't really think of one thing. I mean, I just think at some points, the game wasn't really going our way, and we were doing our best to try to keep ourselves in it, and I mean, it just didn't go our way that night. So.
You're playing under the lights here at Memorial Stadium. You guys haven't lost a night game here in like 8 years. What's the atmosphere like playing at night here at Memorial Stadium?
I think it's the best atmosphere, if not in the Big Ten. I mean, if not in the country, I'm definitely in the Big Ten for sure. I mean, it's one of the best atmospheres. I mean, as far as our students getting into it, and then I mean, just our overall fan base. So, it's great playing here. I mean, in our night games, and just gives us the chance to have that night game advantage.
Kieron, you played against Minnesota's quarterback Mitch Leiter a couple times already. What do you remember about facing him in previous seasons?
He's a good quarterback. I mean, he's a guy that can make the throws. I mean, definitely off play action, because they run the ball a lot. He's a tough guy. I know he's been compared to like a Ben Roethlisberger or a guy like that. So, I mean, he's a guy that can make all the throws, and we'll just have to do our best to be in position to make plays on those balls.
Your team has obviously gone through a lot, even before the season happened. How do you just feel about the emotional stamina of this team, you know, to get to the finish line at this point? Because there have been so many emotional games, emotional things with Sam and everything that's happened. How do you feel about that?
I feel like we're all grown men, and we do our best to stay together, you know, and not when we have something like this to break up. I think the things that we did go through in the off season helped us and brought us closer together. So now when we do get to times like this, it's not frantic. It's not like, oh, what do we do now? You know, we're gonna go to the next week, gonna go to the next game. We're gonna do our best to win that game and then win the rest of the games that we have on our schedule.
Coach Riley often references Nate and Banderas when talking about leaders on the team. What is it about those guys, like non-football related, that makes them, that everybody kind of flocks to them, you think?
I think everybody knows what a leader is. You know what I mean? When you see a guy, you know if that guy's a leader or not. It's just human nature to be drawn towards a guy that's doing the right things. You know what I mean? So I mean, those guys just have those type of characteristics that draw guys in, and since they are making those plays on the field as well, they're great role models for guys on the team to follow.
Are guys excited not from a redemption standpoint, but to get back on the field, get another week, get going, and in a divisional game where they're mathematically tied with you guys? We didn't talk about as much because it's Minnesota, but this is a big game in the division too.
Every game's a big game. So I mean, like I said before, if we lose to Northwestern or if we lose to Purdue, I mean, those were big games. So I feel like this week is just as big of a game as Ohio State was. So like I said, I know our coaches are going to do their best to prepare us for this week, and we're going to go in. We're going to go in and just be ready to go on the field and represent well.
Kieron, how do you see the coaches handle what happens every night? Have you seen a change in Coach Riley or any of the position coaches?
No, I've seen a change. I mean, at the end of the day, you're either going to win the game or you're going to lose the game. I mean, if you lose by 1 or if you lose by 100, I mean, you still lost. So I think our coaches have handled it well, and then it's helped us handle it well as well. So I think we're just going to chalk it up as a loss and do our best to move on to Minnesota.